20 years ago, to have a cell phone meant you were big time.
Or you had the camera with the film that roll. You got to roll it just right. See, I'm telling my age. Yeah, I'm telling my age.
Now that's old.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, you didn't say that's old.
My
Well,
bad.
actually, Benji is the oldest person on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Benji was born in the 70s.
Hey, I mean, and my birthday is coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. Halloween. He's a Halloween baby. I used to mess with him when we were kids. I told him he was born with his mask on.
Yeah. I used to be pretty. Hey, hey, no mo. Go ahead. What's happening?
Oh man. But yeah, I ain't gonna give him a hard time today.
It's
You know
all
what I'm saying? As
right
as my guy.
today and get the ladies some, some inspiration out in this joint. But we got to make them laugh in the process. You know that.
Yeah. We just we
There
just
you
like
go.
we just like to chit chat a little bit before we get started. But y'all already know. Before we get going, we definitely have a guest with us today, Miss Audrey Hayes. She is going to share a bit about her journey, and we're gonna let her tell you about her journey. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna let her describe to you and everything. We ain't gonna tell you too much about it. We just gonna let her kind of introduce herself. But before we do that, y'all know if y'all watch the show, we gotta make sure everybody's good. So we're gonna start with the guest, Audrey Hayes. Are you good? Mentally,
I'm good.
physically, emotionally, everything good.
I'm good. I'm good. Positive energy flowing. I'm good.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Trisha Michelle, you,
I'm
you,
good,
you
guys.
you got the blonde hair rocking. What's
Oh, I
up?
mean, since the birthday, this was the birthday here, so it's just been rocking since then. So it's gonna be
Blondes
in for
have
a
more
minute.
fun.
You know, just a little bit more fun.
I don't know what you.
But nah, everything's good over here. I mean, days and days draw closer to my mom going to her appointment out this way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's great. So
Definitely still praying for your mom as always, and and especially with everything that's going on in your world. Just as we tell you off camera, we rocking with you. So whatever you need from us, just let us know.
Sure.
yes, it's
Ben,
appreciated.
no doubt. Benji Banks, the man, the brand. How you feeling today, my guy, man?
I'm good, but I am upset about something. Right.
Uh-oh.
Uh, I understand the community. When you move into a new community, ain't that much traffic. But now everybody didn't move this way. Man, the traffic is a monster right now. It's like LA traffic right now. Take your boy almost an hour, and I'm only like 10, 15 miles away.
Dang.
That's California though. Like
That's Cali. So
it'll say 15 miles. That's 45 minutes.
I'm
Like
like, but as long as the property value ain't lowered, I'm straight.
traffic ain't gonna do that. So
Well, you
Yeah.
can't
that's
have
favorite.
everything. You can't have everything.
I mean, we show enough strive for it, but it's all right. I understand. But listen, that just means folks gonna start having accidents more, and that just makes you drive a little bit longer, especially on Taco Tuesday when you want some tacos and you gotta wait because somebody done had an accident on the freeway. But
I'm gonna need you to get into that mobile order, that pickup, that you gotta do
Uber
things that make
Eats.
things quick. Yeah, like I don't wait for nothing. Like my order is being made while I'm on the way.
her tacos is better.
Tacos? Whose tacos? Your wife's tacos, you said?
Yes.
Well, that's okay. And guess what? She gonna make sure that they are made ready to when you get in the door. They're not just gonna be sitting there.
I mean, but when you gotta rush, you know what I'm saying, to the set, you know what I'm talking,
Yeah, you'll be all right.
you know what I'm
You'll be
saying?
all right. You just sound like a crybaby right now. In a city and a state where traffic ain't gonna get better. You'll be all right.
Hilarious, hilarious.
All right, y'all. Well, we definitely want to get into the topic for today. This episode is 175. Check yourself. And we titled it that because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and our guest today is here to share about her journey
Yeah.
with breast cancer. And what I mean, when I talk about breast cancer, it strikes near and dear to me because I've had multiple ladies in my family, be diagnosed with it, and thank God they have been able to, survive it. We've had multiple um, cousins and one of my aunts who's had it multiple times and has able to, been able to survive multiple times. So it's something that's near and dear to my heart, man. So well, we always talk about it around this time of year, and everybody has the pink accessories and things. But we really want to make sure that we share these journeys that people go through to let people know that it's more than just a ribbon, it's more than just a month, it's more than
Mm-hmm.
just a color. You know what I'm saying? People are actually affected by this and their families, and we wanted to have somebody come again this year as we had in previous years and talk about their journey. So Miss Audrey Hayes is here to tell us a little bit about her journey. So Audrey Hayes, who are you? Tell us about yourself, where you from, a little bit of your background, what set you claim.
You throwing up W's?
Okay, well, I am Audrey Hayes, and most people know me as the Brain. Um, I am Oak Cliff raised. That's
Oh,
my set. That's what I claim.
not
Uh,
left. All right.
Born and raised. Okay. Um,
South Dallas boy here. So grew up in South Dallas. So we ain't too far from y'all.
And she
use
said
my
she
neighbor
authentic.
in some kind of way.
Yeah, a lot of trouble was, started, back in them days. You know what I mean? I feel
In between them two locations, for sure.
lots going on. Yeah.
How far we've come. How far we've come.
Hallelujah. Yeah, man.
Um, I am a breast cancer survivor. I have been cancer free for 2 years, and I find it important to educate people about breast cancer, in particular, our people, because it's something that a lot of people are afraid of or they simply don't know about. So I'm excited to be here today so I can share a little bit about my journey and share some facts.
Okay. Okay.
Love that.
So can you share a little bit about how you felt when your initial reaction when you were diagnosed with breast cancer? How did you even find out that you had it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I turned 40, and when you turn 40 as a woman, you're supposed to go get a mammogram. It's oftentimes the first age that insurance companies will pay for it. But let me say, don't let that be a deterrent. So I turned 40, I scheduled a regular mammogram, and they don't hurt. Let me say that because that's one of the myths. Okay, they do not hurt. And if there is any amount of pressure, it's only for a matter of seconds. So I did my mammogram, and it came back that I had a lump. And once they detect that you have a lump, they want to do a biopsy. But I'm gonna pause right there for a second on the lump. Okay, my lump could not be seen, and it could not be seen by the naked eye, and it could not be felt by the touch of the hand. So that's why it's so important to get a mammogram, because it's not always something that you can see and feel. So they wanted to do a biopsy, and a biopsy is where they test the lump to see if it's cancerous or not. Because you can have a lump and it's not cancerous, but it can also be cancerous. So they did a biopsy.
Now you said it couldn't be detected, obviously. So how did that process go of you again finding out that, oh, now I have this? I know your initial reaction garnered some attention, but how did that process go of you actually finding out? Like, is there a call? How does that work?
Okay, so for me, it took 7 months to determine whether or not I had cancer or not, because there are a series of tests and MRIs and biopsies that you have to go through. So I walk by faith. So it really wasn't any anxiety over the 7 month period. It was a test of faith that God, whatever this is, I'm gonna be okay. So I actually and this is a funny story, but it's true. I actually found out on a Friday. It was Friday about 2 p.m. I was driving. My doctor called to tell me that the final results were in and I had breast cancer. I was having a party that Saturday and I told her, I said, look, doc, I'm having a party Saturday and I can't let nothing kill my vibe. I'll call you back on Monday. Okay. And that's what I did. And when I called her back on Monday, she walked me through. And what I had was stage 0 cancer. Now, a lot of people don't even know that there's a such thing as stage 0 cancer. It is the earliest stage of breast cancer, which is why getting a mammogram is so important, because early detection can save your life, because it saved mine. So I was prepared because I had been waiting on this answer for 7 months and I had been walking by faith. And so whatever it was, I was ready to handle it. If it was negative, I was going to be thankful. And if it was positive, I was going to soldier up like the soldier that I am and thrive through the situation. And so one of the things that I tell people is, we all know that your mindset, your attitude determines your altitude, right? And so my mindset from day one of starting this process was I was going to thrive and that I was going to survive and that I was going to overcome this. So I always kept a positive mindset.
Now, how did that party end up going? How was that?
Oh, it was wonderful. I had over 100 guests. Okay. It was my 12th year in business anniversary. Some of the classmates came out. It was a really nice night.
Awesome. Glad that killed your vibe, because I know probably hearing that probably could have set you back a little bit. So that's actually a good start to it. And then to get the notice that it's a stage 0,
mm-hmm.
I'm sure that kind of was like, okay, we can get this. We're at a good space, I'm sure, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because one of the things that my doctor explained to me, when you have stage 0 cancer, it is 100% curable, right? So I knew going into the process that I was going to be okay, which brings me back to that point that I keep talking about, which is why early detection is so important, because the sooner you find out, the better your options are and the more options you have.
Okay. And how did you cope with the emotions surrounding your diagnosis? Because I'm sure, after the party and Monday when you had the conversation with your doctor and you have kids as well and family members, like how did you cope with all of that as you had to, let everybody know as well?
The hardest part was letting my family know, right? Because for your family, there's an immediate concern in a gasp for air, like, oh my goodness, my mom or my daughter, or my sister has cancer. So there's an immediate reaction from your family. So not only are you managing your emotions, you're managing their emotions as well too. And again, it comes back to that mindset. Ken, you know me. You know I'm a soldier. Okay. I'm a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into it with the attitude that I was gonna handle it and I was gonna be okay. Now, let me tell you, during the process, because it is a process, like from the time I got diagnosed until the time I rang the bell to be cancer free, which was on April 22nd, from the time I rang the bell, I probably had, between the radiation sessions and doctor's appointments, I probably had 80 appointments, and that is a lot of appointments.
Yeah,
and so it really does take over your life, because it's very difficult to work when you're going through this process because you have so many appointments. And then when you're going through for me, let me say this, everybody's process is different based on what stage your cancer is, right? So for me, I had surgery first, right? And because you can have a lumpectomy or you can have a mastectomy. With a lumpectomy is where they remove the lump, and a mastectomy is where they remove your breasts. They can either remove one breast or they can remove both breasts, right? And that's your decision depending upon what you wanna do. I had a lumpectomy, right? And so after my first surgery, I ended up having to have a second surgery, because what they do is that they remove the mass from your breast and then they test the outer margins, and the margins should come back negative for cancer. Well, when they tested my margins, they were positive for cancer, which meant I had to have a second surgery. So I had two surgeries.
Now, how long after you got your diagnosis did you make the decision or the decision was made that we have to have surgery? How long was that process?
Within 3 weeks of my doctor calling me, I had surgery. And it was important because the lump was growing. Remember, I told you it took 7 months for me to find out that I had cancer. And between the starting point of starting in starting in February until September, the lump had grew by 2 inches. So it was an immediate need to remove the lump.
Yeah, it was growing fast.
Yeah, it was.
So would you say that the most challenging aspect of your treatment was trying to juggle home life, work life, and then the appointments? Was that the hardest thing, or was it the radiation or the treatment itself?
For me, it was really both. Well, okay, well let me take that back. Managing work was easy for me because I work for myself. God will put you in position when you need to be in position, because I work for myself, so I didn't have to worry about taking off work. Okay. However, radiation, they will tell you that you can work through radiation. And depending upon whether you did chemo first or not, you really might be able to work through radiation. Radiation makes you extremely tired, right? The sessions are very quick because you have to think about it. They're exposing you to radiation. So you're not in there any longer than 15 minutes max. However, when the tiredness comes down on you, you're exhausted and all you want to do is lay down. So managing being tired and functioning in my day-to-day was one of the most difficult parts.
And you going through those radiation treatments, how long did the radiation itself, how long did that last? How long was that process going through that?
Okay. Everybody's is different because it's based on what stage cancer you are. However, for me, they call them fractions, like you're doing math. They call them fractions, but for the sake of this conversation, we'll call them sessions. I had 33 sessions of radiation, which means I went under 33 times and was exposed to radiation to kill whatever remaining cancer cells could still be in my breast.
Wow. That is the long, is that totality, the 80 appointment, or
33 of those 80 appointments were radiation sessions.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Wow.
So
that's my bad. Did they have you going Monday through Friday, or was it like a couple days a week? How often were you going in a week?
I went Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And oftentimes when you're doing radiation, you go every day because they want to kill that area in a rapid response. So you'll have a 6-week session, an 8-week session. It just depends upon how severe your cancer is.
Wow.
Okay.
Imagine that. So every day, you're a soldier. You're saying, I got this, God, you got me, God, you got me. What was your scripture, or what was your mindset as you're talking to God through this process? Because I know faith is a huge thing in these spaces, because you're believing something that's going to happen. What was your mindset in that space? How were you talking to God? How were you communicating during that span?
Okay. I would say I have to tell you one of my beliefs first for you to understand this. Okay. And you deep in the word, so you'll understand where I'm going with this, and so will y'all. Okay. I firmly believe that every obstacle we encounter in life is a trick of the enemy to delay us from getting to our purpose.
Right.
Okay. And so for me, I saw this as an obstacle that was really meant to break me, right? Because finding out you have cancer can severely change your life. Like, I have a positive story. I have a sister-in-law who has a story completely different than this. Okay. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, and she's still dealing with the situation 2.5 years later. So fortunately for me, God showed me favor. And so going through it and going into it, I wanted to show the blessing that God showed up on my life, because I had the very best health care. I had the very best doctors, right? Like, what a blessing that I turned 40 and that's when they found the lump. Because what I didn't tell y'all is the first doctor I went to didn't find the lump. It was my second doctor that found the lump. So what a blessing that my second doctor found the lump. And not only did they find the lump, it was when it was a stage 0. So there were so many things that were in my favor that I couldn't have a bad attitude, right? Even though the appointments were taxing and the radiation made you tired, and just not being yourself because you're going through something, right? I never stopped thriving. I'm a roads and concrete.
Hey, I love that. I love hearing that, because that's very instrumental, especially when you're going through faith and you're in the doctor's hands and they're trying to figure it out. Because remember, they're figuring it out as well. they don't know everything. So to be
right
out in that space, it's a healthy space for a lot of people. And so to hear that is very encouraging. So I salute you for that.
I appreciate that.
All right. So who were the key people, like, in your support system? Who was in your circle during that time that kept you encouraged, that kept you motivated to continue to keep going each and every day?
Okay, so my parents were my immediate support system. And then I had a few best friends that were like literally with me every step of the way. They were in the waiting room. I had to go back to the hospital a few times because I had complications. They were at the emergency room with me. They wanted to take me to radiation, but they have a rule about somebody can't bring you, because they'll have a waiting room full of people waiting as opposed to people getting services. So they were there for me every step of the way, my parents. And of course, my sons did their best ability to take care of their mom, but I tried not to put that weight, on them.
Yeah, because I can imagine your support system wanting to be there. They they want to be in that space and support you in that space. So for them to not be able to kind of go through it totally with you in that time, I'm sure that kind of was probably a little trip for them. So
it was, because they felt like and in reflective conversation after it was all over, one of the things they said was, I didn't let anybody be there for me, right? But they don't understand that in that process, I couldn't let somebody be there for me. I had to do that part by myself.
Yeah, and I mean that's a story in life in general too. Everybody wants to be there for you in life, and there's certain parts of life in general that you gotta you got to take, you got to take that journey, that part of the journey by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the footprints in the sand come in. I remember seeing that picture growing up, and we felt like you were by yourself, but those are the times that God was carrying you. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot in your testimony and what you're saying that can be gleaned from that, and people can learn and be inspired by it for sure.
Now, has anyone ever, before you even got your diagnosis, was there ever anyone like in your family that dealt with this, or was this all fresh? Was this all new? How much did you know prior to getting your diagnosis in relation to breast cancer?
I was cancer runs in my family, however, not breast cancer. So I was the first person to have breast cancer. So I went into it not knowing anything. And so one of the first things that my breast surgeon did was she gave me a book on breast cancer, which broke it down from the beginning to the end. And so one of the things that I would say to somebody is educate yourself. Like, don't just let the doctor tell you something and you say, okay, that is what it is, right? Do your own research, be knowledgeable, right? Understand the difference in the type of therapies and the type of treatments you can get so that you're making an informed decision.
Right.
Okay.
So that's that has to be crucial, because I would think that a lot of women are, probably reluctant from the beginning to even go. Would you say that that's a possibility? Some people don't want to know as much as they need to know. Would you say that was somewhat of an issue dealing with that?
It is, because there are a lot of myths about breast cancer, and the lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding, right, deters a lot of women in particular, and the lack of resources. Like in the African American community, there's a disparity in healthcare. And so whereas it may be something that's prominently available in other parts of town, it's not necessarily available in African American communities. And so when you put all those social economical factors together, then it's a lot of things that prevent women from going to get mammograms. And the lack of knowledge is the first one.
Gee, I mean, gosh, you got to you're dealing with it from all levels and all phases. And so it just feels like everything's against you. So to be able to come out.
Right. But see, it's always better to know. See, I've had about 3 women come back to me from me sharing my testimony about breast cancer. All 3 of them had lumps, right? All 3 of them ended up with breast cancer. But how much better you are to know. See, you could be dying every day and not even know it. See, because at some point, and this happened to my auntie, the cancer can metastasize, which means it spreads to other parts of the body, to your other organs. And now you're in a really precarious situation. So the sooner you know, the better.
Yeah, because once it metastasizes, that's stage 4.
Correct.
And I was going to ask you, I know you say you underwent radiation as your treatment, and I know there are different options. Did the doctors offer you another option other than radiation? And if they did, why did you choose to go the radiation route if they offered another option?
Because I was stage 0, I didn't need chemo because it was not severe, right? Okay. So the natural treatment plan was radiation. I could have chosen not to do radiation, but I wanted to ensure that all the cancer cells were killed. I wanted to make sure, so I did the entire process. But there is something I want to share, because a lot of times women want to know how the process affects your body, right? Radiation shrinks your breast. Okay. It makes it hard. It discolors your breast. It's not, you have to imagine it's radiation. So they're literally burning your skin every day. So at some point in the process, your skin will peel like burnt flesh, right? And so it's not all pretty and glamour because there is some agony that goes along with it. And there are some after effects that you may not fully know about, right? When you get a mastectomy, you can get a new set of breasts. You can have plastic surgery, right? But when you get a lumpectomy, you're left with whatever deformation comes from the surgery and the radiation.
Ooh. Now you said the radiation, it burns your skin. So when you're going through the radiation treatment and the process, how long is that burning taking place? Is that the full 15 minutes? How is that space? Talk to us a little bit about how that process is and how you're dealing with that.
Okay, so it's not a burning. You don't feel anything when the radiation is on you. Okay. You don't even see the light. They line you up and you lay down and you don't see it and you don't feel it. But what happens is it's burning your skin because it's radiation. And so after several sessions of exposure to radiation, your skin burns. They give you the same burn cream that victims use from burns. They give you the same burn cream for your radiation burns, right? It's just like a burn victim. That's what it looks like. And the top layer of your flesh will of your skin will peel because it's dead from the radiation, right? And so then it has to grow new, and I'm gonna tell you, God was really, really good to me because one of the things that happens when you do radiation is every week you see the oncologist, after one of your sessions. And every week I would see him and I would be ready to go. Okay. And so he would come in and I was ready to go. Okay. And so he would come in and say, "How you doing?" I'd be like, "Yep, I'm good. I'm all right. Yep, I'm good. I'm okay." And he was looking at me like I was a walking miracle, but I didn't know why. And so, about the day before my last session was on a Monday. So on that Sunday, my skin peeled. So when I went to my last session on that Monday, it hurts. You can't put your arm down because you don't want the skin touching the skin. It's a very painful experience. And so when I went to the back, I told him, I said, "I gotta show y'all, my skin peeled." And so the doctor came in and looked at my breast, and he said, "You should have been peeling like this in week number 3." Okay. But God kept me all the way to week number 6. And it did not peel until the day before my last session, because if I had been peeling through the process, it would have taken longer because you can only burn the skin so much, right? So the radiation does have some side effects, and those are it.
Okay. Now, talk to us a little bit about this, because I know from my last conversation with our last lady, she, the food was critical at this time. And I remember when Sister Nicole, she loved her lemon cakes, all right? So talk to us a little bit about how did it affect your eating at all? Like, how did that process go? Did you have to go to a stricter diet? How does that work?
You don't have to do anything because you can do whatever you want to do. But I went all organic, right? I don't want anything that has hormones in it. And anything that's processed. I don't eat a lot of processed. I stopped eating a lot of processed foods, and I went completely organic.
I mean, that's a W right there, because they say that's one of the main links to a lot of the cancers is the hormones and pesticides.
Pesticides,
correct. The stuff in the milk and our food, and it's the hormones in the food. Like I call it genocide by food.
Wow.
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah.
Yep. And Dorsha Blackburn in the comments, she said that's how we should be living anyway, eating organically. A lot of the stuff that we put in our bodies is, like you're saying, it's the main cause of the sicknesses that a
Yeah.
lot of us deal with, and you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, especially cancer. So
Fact.
yeah, so definitely people take this as a lesson, you know what I'm saying? If you're able to, and you have the willpower, you should push through and try to change some of your eating habits if at all possible.
Facts.
Yeah.
Now,
Uh,
what was your favorite thing to eat during this process?
Oh, I love me some Mexican food.
See,
And it's Taco Tuesday too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am always down for a chimichanga, okay? With queso.
I am not mad at it at all because we in California. Listen, we believe we have the best food out there. So, yeah, I can
Wait, who? What? We believe we have the best what?
Mexican food out there.
Oh, I thought you just said food in general. I said no.
No.
I travel many places.
I
And the
wouldn't
food is
say
better.
Mexican food.
You know, Texas give you a run for your money on that Mexican food.
I would say tacos.
No,
Now
I
when
will
you say
say
when you say Mexican food in general, that's a different thing. When you said tacos
Yeah.
before, I trust. I
tacos.
believe you.
Yeah,
I believe
I've
you.
been to
Y'all got
Texas
better
and the tacos.
tacos.
Tacos ain't
Yeah.
See,
better
I'm
than
talking about
Cali.
fajitas, quesadillas,
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Mexican egg
Now
rolls.
that's different. That's different right there, Benji. So we that's another conversation for another
Yeah,
day.
Cali got
But
the tacos on lock.
the tacos, y'all got that. But Mexican food as a whole, I don't know about that.
we're gonna have
Uh,
foodologists on this show and have some taste and some shit on this show. But when she said chimichanga, I just want you to know that the Lord is all in between that. Quesadilla,
see, you felt me. You felt me.
yes, that's a lift your hands moment right there. Because
Praise them.
yes, and then you clap the hands together. How good the Lord is present. Yeah, we.
All right. So so during your process, were there any, lessons that you can say that you learned from your experience that you were able to share with other people?
I kind of already touched on some of them, but your attitude determines your altitude. You know, if you believe you defeated, you defeated. If you believe you victorious, you victorious. Right. So your attitude determines your altitude. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Especially when it comes to your body. Ask whatever you need to ask to get comfortable with what you need to know. And early detection, get a mammogram every year. Like I just schedule it around my birthday. Like I turn a year older, I get a mammogram, right? Get a mammogram because it cannot all be seen or felt by the naked eye.
Man, that's great information. Now, were there any complications throughout your process? Was there any time when you were dealing with this that you felt maybe something went wrong? Was there any space and time in there? Was there any complications that you had?
After my second surgery, okay, well, first before that, because I went under anesthesia twice back to back, I experienced what is called brain fog. It's a side effect of anesthesia, which, for lack of a better way to put it, I couldn't think, I couldn't focus, I couldn't process information. My brain was literally fogged from the anesthesia. And then after my second surgery, my incision came open and I was leaking fluid. So I had to go back to the emergency room a few times. Once the incision comes open, you just kind of have to heal from the inside out. And but I ended up being thankful for it because I leaked fluid every day for probably about 2 months.
Oh,
but
wow.
I would rather have the fluid out than to have the fluid in. So I wasn't even mad about it.
So that was kind of like I don't know if even this would be worded right. It was kind of like a blessing in disguise, so to
It was
speak.
a blessing in disguise.
Because if the fluid is in there, it's just, infected in your breast, correct? Or am
Correct.
I wrong?
Okay, so since so what's life been like after completing the treatment? You said that was 2 years ago. What's changed? I mean, we know you've changed your eating habits and things of that nature, but like experience like that, like what kind of changes did you make afterward? You know what I'm saying? As far as life goes, as far as social stuff or anything like that.
I was actually a social butterfly all the way through my process, and I'm still a social butterfly. Nothing about that has changed.
Yes.
But I will talk about my after treatment. I still see my breast surgeon. I see my breast surgeon once every 3 months, and I get 2 mammograms a year, one on my birthday and one on the anniversary of my first surgery, which was in October. And so I still do treatment. And then when you when you finish your radiation or your chemotherapy, there's something called hormone therapy. And hormone therapy is where you take a pill, and it is more likely to it reduces your chances of getting breast cancer again by 50%.
Wow.
Okay. And so you do hormone therapy. My hormone therapy is tamoxifen. Now, the side effects of tamoxifen is, baby, you're gonna have some hot flashes. And I'm talking about some serious hot. My kneecaps be hot. Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Not
Hot
the kneecaps.
My kneecaps.
flu, just period, just out of the blue, it can happen
Just out of the blue, you're gonna start sweating like somebody poured water on you.
Oh, wow.
Just
And is
randomly.
that all throughout the day, off and on, intermittent?
That's all throughout the day at any random moment.
Now,
Wow.
what's the name of that medicine again?
Tamoxifen. It's the
Tam-
most common hormone therapy that they give women after breast cancer.
Now,
There are others depending upon the severity of your cancer, but tamoxifen is the most common.
and the tamoxifen, that obviously is your choice. You decided, hey, I wanted to do this. Ladies get their choice in that space, right? To kind of pick.
Actually, what happens when you're diagnosed with cancer, your doctor develops you a treatment plan, which
Yeah.
includes how many times you need to go to the doctor, how many sessions of radiation you need to do, and how long you need to be on hormone therapy. How long you need to be on it is different for each person. For me, I have to be on hormone therapy for 5 years, but it varies from person to person.
And that says a lot for stage 0 for 5 years. So imagine one,
If
two,
you are
three,
more severe.
yeah, how
Mm-hmm.
long you would be on any of this. And she went through 80 something sessions and appointments, and that's just stage 0. So all those other stages, early detection is beneficial.
And
Absolutely.
that's amazing when you think of it. Hers was stage 0 and the 80 plus sessions and so forth. Now, you got to be on the tamoxifen
Tamoxifen.
for 5 years.
Yes, it's a pill that you take once a day.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, because I wanted to know
Mm-hmm.
here that is. You take it 2 or 3 times a day, once a day. Okay.
Once a day.
When you're done, can they guarantee your hot flashes gonna leave?
No, they cannot.
Right.
That's
No,
cool.
but it is a serious side effect of the medicine. And when I say
Yeah.
serious, I'm telling y'all, it's serious.
I see it in your face.
Okay, it's serious.
All right,
I can imagine that though, but the risk of it is, this is it 50%,
Yeah, worth it.
prevents you from catching breast cancer again. So it's well worth it, in your opinion, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's that risk reward thing. Some stuff in life we have to weigh, the risk reward of it, and then deal with the side effects, as she said. So, if your kneecaps gotta be hot, you know what I'm saying, but it's gonna save your life. I guarantee you, most people are gonna take the hot kneecaps over being being dead. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
facts. All right, so what advice do you have for somebody who's just been diagnosed? Like, if you were around somebody, what advice could you give them off the top that could get them started on their journey with a little motivation?
Educate yourself, right? Make sure you know and understand all, because some breast cancer is hormone positive, some is not, some is aggressive, some is not. So whatever they tell you, make sure you do thorough research. You almost become a doctor, okay? Because you've done so much research about the process that you're about to go through, that you're educated, right? So I would encourage somebody to be educated. And then I would also encourage somebody to take on a positive mindset, because whatsoever thou thinketh, there is.
Right.
So make sure your mindset is right and make sure you're educated.
Now, you get the mindset from your circle of people around you to kind of help you out. Sometimes we need that around us, so it's always good to have good people around. Sure.
Right, but everybody ain't got somebody. And that's just the reality of it. And so we all used to think encourage yourself, but that's a real thing. You got to speak it over yourself. You got to encourage yourself, right? And so one of the things I'm big on is that self-care. See, you got to take good care of you so that you can take care of everybody else. You can't be last on the list.
That's what I told my mom.
And that starts with, educating yourself, changing your eating habits, speaking to yourself properly. All of that part of the self-care. And it seems like you did a great deal of that throughout your process of making quick decisions on this.
Yes.
All right.
And so you were just in for your general mammogram, just regular checkup at 40, and then boom.
And keep in mind, the first doctor missed it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I was going to ask you about that. So you said the first doctor missed it. So what made you go see that doctor and then go to another doctor? Like, was there something that happened in between?
I went, I do all my wellness appointments around my birthday. That's how I keep up with them. So I went to a Wales woman exam at an OBGYN, and it was my first time ever going to this place. And they did a well woman's exam. And for those who don't know what a well woman's exam is, they examine your womanly parts, but they also examine your breasts. That's a part of a well woman's exam. And so they did the regular exam, but they didn't do a breast exam. And I just happened to be at my PCP probably about 4 months later, and we were talking about the OBGYN, and I just happened to say, another blessing, I just happened to tell her that the doctor didn't do a mammogram. And didn't do a breast exam. And she said, what kind of well woman exam was that? And they didn't do a breast exam. I said, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, but I didn't say nothing. And so she said, well, I have she a young sister. She probably in her 30s. She got it going on. She's a very good doctor. She said, well, I'm going to send you for a mammogram, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be responsible for it. I said, well, do your thing, doc. Do your thing. And that's how she found it. Because think about it. It would have been another year before I went and got a breast exam that I would have had cancer and wouldn't have known it.
Now, are there any symptoms at all that made you, because I know you couldn't feel yours, but were there any symptoms that triggered you at all? Or was it all just, I had to go, you went to the mammogram, went to the doctor. Did you happen to feel like anything was different at any point in time doing that?
Not at all. And see, that's why I say it's so important to get a mammogram, because you could not see it. And even if I would have been doing a self-exam, you could not feel it with your hands. It could only be seen on a mammogram, which is why it's so important to make sure you get one.
Wow.
And usually by the time you have some type of symptoms, you're at some type of different stage.
Absolutely. You've progressed to a point that now it's manifested in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then choice. That's usually when, you know, people being, you know, not being proactive about it, you know, they're being reactive. It's a sensitive spot. I know it's not it wasn't breast cancer, but my uncle found out about his cancer at the hospital, and they opened him up at the hospital, found out he had cancer, and then he literally passed a few days after that because it had spread by that time. So being proactive about it, I think, is probably one of the greatest tools that you can have. But I understand there's some hesitancy surrounding it around there because, you know, some people just don't want to know. You know.
And did you know that men can have breast cancer too?
Yes.
Sure can.
Found that out
mm-hmm.
last year's episode about men possibly having breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's
and I wanted to ask too, this is one of those reflective questions, you know, if you could go back and speak to yourself before the diagnosis, what kind of conversation would you have for yourself? Just, you know, being able to give yourself information.
I'm gonna tell you something I would have completely done different, and I think about it quite often how I could have changed the trajectory of what happened. My grandmother lived to be 85 years old, and I say that she loved the Lord and she took vitamins. That's what I say. And there's a vitamin called selenium. And my grandmother had been giving me selenium since I was 18 years old. And what selenium specifically does is it helps to prevent breast cancer. So if I could have done anything different, I would have been taking the selenium from the beginning of time.
Wow, that is amazing. So, ladies, get your vitamins up, fellas.
It ain't just ladies. Yeah, I was gonna say everybody takes some selenium.
Yeah, get your vitamins up. I had no idea. I did not know that selenium helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of us grew up on Flintstones, and then you get grown and you stop taking your vitamins. People, take your vitamins. Find out, do your research, as we always say, do your Googles, and find you a solid vitamin regimen, and start making sure you're taking care of your body and your water intake and all that, because it's important. Because we're talking about breast cancer, we're talking about the awareness of that, but there are many forms of cancer that manifest in the same ways. So, and a lot of it can be prevented or, you know, or slowed down if you know, just do certain things, you know, on your daily trek that could help take care of your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ask about your family history. Some stuff is genetic, and you want to know what it is that they, you know, could possibly happen. Breast cancer, certain types of cancer. If it runs in your family, then you can. I know with me at Kaiser, if it runs in your family, especially close, like say your mom or somebody, you can let your doctor know, and you can actually advocate for a mammogram before you hit 40 to have yourself checked.
So you can get a mammogram before you turn 40, because that's the standard age, right? 40.
Yeah, 40 is the standard age, like she said, in reference to insurance. They don't like to pay for it before then. But if you express to your doctor puts on your chart that you have family history of someone that's immediate family that has it, then they can go ahead and put that in, and that order will be approved based off of what you know, hereditary can happen to you. So then they'll let you go ahead and get a mammogram early.
Okay. Yeah, now that's good to know, people. You know, so a lot of y'all have insurance and you don't use it. And you're paying for it. As we always say, you're paying all that money for that insurance through your job or outside your job. Utilize your insurance. Go get your annual checkups, especially guys. Let me take this moment to talk to the guys just for a second. You know what I'm saying? Because guys are notorious for not going and getting, you know what I'm saying, their checkups, because we feel like, I'm fine. I get up in the morning, I got a little ache, I got this, I got that, and you know, I'm cool. Nah, you need to go get checked out as well, because things happen to everybody. So the best thing you do, like Benji was talking about earlier, how about you do the work beforehand. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Don't wait till you're at a dire straight and you need some help. Then try to be proactive and making sure you're taking care of yourself and your body on a daily basis.
We're getting closer to that age, the colonoscopy age, and so all of these types of things. I try to make it a habit. I've been slacking the last couple of years. I try to make it a habit to get a physical every year. So we need to do a show on that because there's a lot of things that we need information on. And I'll say this: one of the
Hold
things
on. Benji say getting to that age, bruh. We at
I'm
that
We been
age.
at that age. We
We
been
at
at
that
that age.
age.
no, I'm there. Yeah, I got
Yeah, you definitely there.
this coming year. So uh, I also want to stress this that a lot of times, a lot of our folks are scared to go to the doctor because of treatments and misdiagnoses and stuff like that. So I understand that there is some potential hesitancy surrounding all of this, but um, but I would lean on the side of wisdom in a lot of cases. Sometimes you just have to go. Uh, but start taking better care of ourselves. Them vitamins and doing those things. Get them elderberries, get them rose hips, get
Hmm.
that stuff in your life, man.
A daily vitamin, some vitamin C, some zinc.
Yep.
Yes, all that stuff in your regular diet, man. Cinnamon and all of that type of stuff. I'm a big proponent of that.
And cinnamon toast crunch don't count for cinnamon. Just let you know.
A nutritionist just told me cinnamon toast crunch is not good for you, man. But 2,000 milligrams of cinnamon for blood pressure. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that if we just took the time to be proactive about a lot of stuff, we could really help ourselves and aid ourselves. But that organic diet she went on, I guarantee you that that is a great proponent for your health. So
Yes,
Hmm.
indeed. All right. So before we wrap up, we always like to give our guests an opportunity to share a positive thought, a closing thought, or just something that you want to leave the audience with. So the floor is yours. You can also tell them where to find you at on social media or how to contact you if they have any questions.
Okay. Um, First, thank y'all for having me. I really did. I really did enjoy it. Great conversation, great vibe. I appreciate it. Again, I am Audrey Hayes. You can find me on Instagram at Audrey underscore the brain. You can find me on Facebook under Audrey Hayes. And I just want to say be positive. In all things you do, be positive. Have a positive mindset, have a positive attitude.
I love it. I love it. Now I didn't. Why they call you the brain?
Because if it can be figured out, your girl is gonna figure it out.
Yeah. All right now. She gonna figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. I believe her. I believe her.
I believe that.
I've been on Audrey for a long time. Audrey knew me back when I wasn't big Ken. I was like kind of probably medium
In
Ken.
between Ken.
Yeah. I wasn't this height. I wasn't this weight. So it was like that was a different guy back then. You know what I'm saying? But we appreciate you coming through, sharing your wisdom and sharing your journey because we hope that every time we have somebody come and share that they're able to reach people. And just from the comments that I've been seeing, you've reached people today and you've given great information that it's probably going to change somebody's life, and it's probably going to encourage some people to go get those mammograms that were on the fence about it or that were dragging their feet about it. They know they need to go ahead and get it because they could be in that number of people who might not be experiencing anything physically, but on the inside they got something else going on. So
Yeah, that's what
we
we want. We want people to get tested. Go get a mammogram.
we
Yeah.
appreciate that. And y'all, I didn't give Audrey her shirt, but we do have these shirts with
Yeah.
the
Oh,
uh with the
I
Fiyah
want
Session logo.
mine.
Yeah. So I'm definitely I'm gonna hand deliver it to Audrey. I'm gonna take it and drop it off with her. But if anybody out there wants a 5 session breast cancer awareness shirt or a regular 5 session shirt, just hit us up and we can get those shirts to you. So, but before we get up out of here, Benji Banks, the man, the brand, we're gonna give you a chance to say your piece, talk to the people for a minute, and then we'll close out.
Hey man, listen, just learning some new information. I love when we have these inspirational guests on and they share with us their experiences, because in that space you learn just some of the what we probably would think is basic, but I had no idea psyllium helps with breast cancer. So she's been taking that for the longest. And then to hear about the radiation process. And then I think the biggest thing I've taken, even from the times we've had these, is the mindset of the people going in. To be able to go through something like that, I'm sure it takes a certain type of strength, a certain type of mentality, and then to come out of it, because once you're done with the whole process, you still got to go back outside and live. You know what I mean? So to see them kind of go through there, what they dealt with, and then to come out on the other side of it living, is definitely encouraging. So just kind of glad that we get to put these shows together, man, and give people some solid information and let people know, you know what, hey, if you go get your mammogram, if you go do this, you can potentially save your life. You know what I mean? So, and at the end of the day, when we believe in God, we believe He gonna heal us either way. So we feel we are in a great position either way, no matter what comes our way. So I'm encouraged by that.
Facts.
Okay.
Let the people know where they can find you at Benji Banks.
Man, you know, they right now, currently, man, y'all can find me at the shop. I'm there every day. We're working. We got numbers on the screen to the shop. But on social media, you can find me at Benji Banks. I'm there posting about the business, posting about the beauty shop, posting about the things that God is doing. Instagram, BRB4701. We're on there. You'll find a bunch of funny content on there. We just said, forget it, man. We're just going to post funny content and leave it at that. Yeah. I get sick of creating my own content sometimes. But yeah, you can find me on there, Instagram, Facebook. And if you're in the Mobile area, if you're in Moreno Valley, if you're watching, stop by the shop. I'm sure I got something that you need in there.
Yeah. Benji got all them hair products to hook y'all up with, you know what I'm saying? The long weaves, you know what I'm saying? Man units coming soon. So, you know what I'm saying? He got people in the shop that can help you hook it up on the spot, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a lot going on over there. Positive vibes, my guy. I'm proud of you, man. That's big business over there, man.
Yeah, we make it happen.
Facts. All right. Well, y'all can find me at Big Ken on Fire on all social media platforms. If you're on Facebook, just type in Big Ken, it'll pop right up. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Just type in FIYAH in the search bar. We'll pop right up. Hit that little bell button. Get those notifications every time we go live and every time we post new content. Again, we give a big shout out to our guest, Audrey Hayes, the brain, for coming through and sharing her journey. And y'all know every week we come to you live. We ask that you get in the comments. We ask that you interact with us, and you do a great job of that every episode. And we are so thankful for that. Continue to support us. Continue to show love, because we definitely going to show love back. And we going to talk to you every week live here. So y'all make sure y'all keep up with us. Tune in next week for another live episode of the Fiyah Session. Y'all already know how we do it. Peace.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you follow us on all social media platforms